Nice to meet you.
Good afternoon to
How are
you.
you?
Welcome.
Good to see you.
I'm in good spirits and belated congratulations now 8 months in to your role? 7 months.
Thank
you
you
are
very
enjoying
much.
it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you have a number of your colleagues.
Yeah. Introduced Mr. Sultan, head of the European Integration Committee of the Parliament.
Indeed. Thank you.
Head of the Foreign Relations Committee.
Yes.
Of Parliament.
And our colleague here.
Georgian Embassy.
Hi. Hi.
My assistant.
Well, welcome. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for finding time. We know how busy you are today.
Well, life is
We
hectic.
are watching through TV.
Long and important
Yeah.
statement about the G8
Yeah.
from the Prime Minister's session to give everybody a chance to question.
It's very fact that on the next day after this important event, Prime Minister comes to the Parliament. And
Yes.
We want to follow.
Please do come through. I am conscious, Mr. Speaker, that to your very great credit, as far as I understand it, in the short time you have been in office, your popularity rating has gone up.
So far. Let's see what happens during the next 7 months.
You're higher than I am. Doesn't have its own lead. I'm told which route it is. And if you and I were meeting in public and we were expecting a lot of viewers, the which are switched off, by the way, which is that
Well, we have some similar situation. Committees do not have their permanent rooms on it. The recording facilities and all other things, they are all videos and
my committee is doing an inquiry into our relationship with Saudi Arabia, and it is over in one of the rooms over in the other room where meeting, and that.
Hello, very good to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Do please come
Nice to
in.
meet you.
Very good to see you. Welcome to London.
Thank you.
Having
Thank
a
you
good
for
lunch out. Hello, good afternoon. Very good to meet you, sir. Let's go and sit over here. We've got some more chairs. We can find you a chair.
No.
You know Shoebelly?
Yes.
Well, it's more. Please.
And this is the first time when I myself visiting as ruling coalition.
Yeah.
I was coming here as chairman of the opposition.
Just that short period
first
of time. And your colleagues?
Me too.
In Tbilisi? I
About
thought.
pipelines, energy security.
Right. I thought.
And he's now heading the Foreign Relations Committee in the Parliament. Our ambassador to London 6 months ago, but for
So
I know the reason, but
it's not yet.
The United Kingdom very much admires the strong efforts that Georgia is making towards developing a democratic society. The fact that it had proper elections, decisions were taken by the public, by the electorate, they were respected by the president, by the political parties. That's what a democracy is all about. We welcome the fact there is a parliamentary delegation in the United Kingdom, even in these modern days when everything can be done by email and by telephone and by television and so forth. Nevertheless, face-to-face contact is the way you get to know people, and it makes a huge difference. I've been to Georgia several times. I've been to Tbilisi, to Kakheti, to other parts of the country. And just being there has given me a much better understanding of Georgia. And I'm sure for the Georgian delegation being in the United Kingdom, you understand Britain that little bit better. I would like to see Georgian integration into the European Union. It's not an easy task because a lot of you have to accept certain standards, make various reforms, as has every other country that has joined the EU. So that will inevitably take time, but I think Georgia and the European Union is a good idea. It's a good objective.
I'm keen to develop a very good and close relationship between our Parliament here in the United Kingdom and your Parliament here in Georgia. We have a number of institutions that we work through, the Westminster Foundation for Democracy, the Interparliamentary Union, and of course we have very close relationships with Georgian parliamentarians through the NATO Parliamentary Assembly, which at the moment I'm the President of the Assembly, and your delegates to the Assembly always make a very strong impression. Well, I sought to help your Speaker before his visit to London to make sure that he got to meet the Speaker of our House of Commons and other senior parliamentarians here. And whenever there's something of that kind that I can do to help your growing institutions, political institutions in Georgia, to develop and strengthen, it's something which we would want to do. Georgia is a unique country in the South Caucasus with an ambition to become part of the Euro-Atlantic community of nations, and we in Britain strongly support that. Over the last decade, Georgia has come a very long way forward, and the fact that you had an election that led to a ruling party losing power and a new coalition, the Georgia Dream Coalition gaining power, is something that makes people in Europe, elsewhere in Europe, think that this is a country that is becoming a genuine multi-party liberal democracy, and that encourages people in countries like the UK to support Georgia's ambitions to integrate more closely with those in Central and Western Europe. Yes, yes, I do see, and in our conversations at our recent NATO Parliamentary Assembly with the Secretary General of NATO, Mr. Rasmussen, he also sees it's a process. It will take time, but it's a process which will end in NATO membership, and that's what I want to see myself.
Well, I was delighted to welcome David Usufashvili and also the chairmen of the Foreign and European Integration Committees. I'm the chairman of the all-party parliamentary group for Georgia in the British Parliament, and we had a number of other members of Parliament also. We found it a very useful meeting, a full exchange of views over around an hour, and I think it was very useful to get an understanding from the new government on some of the issues where there have been criticisms of Georgia, including the arrest of some members associated with the previous government. I mean, I think prospects of such integration remain good. I don't think there should be an overemphasis on the Vilnius summit. I think what is key is that the integration process remains on track rather than a decision at a particular summit or whether something happens one year or in the following year. And I think it's important that Georgia is judged fairly against common standards that are applied to other countries. And I think a lot of people are looking at the new government and the decisions that they make. But also I think we understand that the government is new, and many our ministers are developing policy in that area. And I do hope the right decisions are made, and in particular that there is a good rule of law and fair treatment of all suspects. But overall, I think Georgia should remain on track for integration with the Euro-Atlantic community.
დღეს დასრულდა პირველი დღე ლონდონში ვიზიტის. იყო საკმაოდ დატვირთული, ქონდა ბევრი შეხვედრა, შევხვდით პარლამენტის სპიკერს, უმრავლესობის ლიდერს, ministrებს, საგარეო კომიტეტის ხელმძღვანელს, უშიშროების და დაზვერვის კომიტეტის ხელმძღვანელს, საქართველოს მეგობრობის ჯგუფის ხელმძღვანელს, ლორდთა პალატის წევრებს და ძალიან ნაყოფიერი იყო დღევანდელი დღე. შევთანხმდით პარლამენტებს შორის თანამშრომლობის თემებზე. ძალიან მალე უკვე კონკრეტული ვიზიტები შედგება. დიდი ბრიტანეთის პარლამენტი, რა თქმა უნდა, არის მოდელი ყველა ქვეყნისთვის და ჩვენ ძალიან ბევრ ამას გადავიღებთ მათგან. ასევე ვისაუბრეთ სხვა მნიშვნელოვან საკითხებზე. დიდი ბრიტანეთი რჩება საქართველოს პარტნიორად ყველა მიმართულებით, იქნება ეს ევროკავშირის მიმართულებით მისაღები გადაწყვეტილებები თუ ნატოს მიმართულებით გადაწყვეტილებები, ისე რომ პირველი დღე იყო საკმაოდ ნაყოფიერი. ხვალ გაგრძელდება შეხვედრები, ასევე იქნება გამოსვლები ჩეთემ ჰაუსში და ჩვენი კოლეგები, პარტნიორები უკეთ ეცნობიან ახალი ხელისუფლების პოლიტიკას და ჩვენს პრიორიტეტებს და გვაქვს სრული ურთიერთგაგება და თანამშრომლობის სურვილი. ძალიან მალე საქართველოში ჩამოვლენ ლორდთა პალატის წევრები, პარლამენტის წევრები ივლისის შუა რიცხვებში შედგება ეს ვიზიტები, ასე რომ თანამშრომლობა ქვეყანას შორის, განსაკუთრებით პარლამენტებს შორის კიდევ უფრო ინტენსიური გახდება.